Hello friends, are you going through a divorce, sitting there on your favorite couch or sofa in the marital residence, eating some popcorn and watching your favorite series on Netflix, thinking to yourself, I love this place and they can never kick me out? Well, think again. Today we're going to talk about the 5 behaviors that you can engage in that will get you kicked out of the marital residence. Welcome back to the Divorce Broadcast. My name is Manny Segarra, coming to you from Miami, Florida. So there are a number of reasons why a spouse may be required to leave the marital residence during a divorce. Remember, usually when, at least in Miami-Dade County, when someone files for divorce, there's a status quo order. The status quo order requires everything to remain the same. So one of the spouses may set up in the master bedroom. The other spouse may set up either in the children's bedroom, or maybe where the pets sleep, or maybe even on a couch. So the first reason that you can possibly get kicked out of the house is by being a jerk. If you cut off your spouse from the utilities, remove their access to the Ring camera or the internet, maybe you trash their personal belongings, maybe you throw their clothes out into the driveway, or you scratch up their car, maybe you argue with them all the time in front of the children, maybe you name call them, maybe you're harassing them and it shows up on a video, maybe it gets worse, maybe you're emotionally abusive towards them. That is all bad. Those are things that make it uncomfortable to live in the marital residence, and especially if there's kids around. So your spouse, if there's proof of you behaving like a jerk, may use that against you and may ask the court to give them exclusive use of the house. So instead of being a jerk, be nice. The second situation in which a spouse may have to leave the marital residence is if perhaps one of the spouses is living alone in the marital residence and they can no longer financially afford to pay either the mortgage, the insurance, the utilities, or the property taxes, any of these carrying costs. At that point, the court may order the house to be sold because the parties cannot afford to pay these costs, and both of the parties, or one of the parties, whoever was living at the house, will be required to move out of the marital residence. Number 3, engaging in inappropriate behavior. We talked about the disruptive, being a jerk before. This is a little bit different. If you start to engage either in substance abuse or alcohol abuse and you come home drunk and belligerent and are scaring your spouse and or the children, they may file a motion and kick you out. Same as if you decide that it's a good idea to bring your affair. Let's say you're having an affair and your new boyfriend or girlfriend, you decide to bring them to the marital residence. Bad idea. They may say that that's inappropriate. Remember, we don't know the judge that's going to be assigned to your case, and they may not be happy that you brought your new side piece back home to the wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, and kids. Don't do that. Number 4, if you get involuntarily hospitalized. Here they call it Baker Act. If a police officer or medical provider finds out that you are either a danger to yourself or a danger to others, they may put you into an involuntary mental institution and you will be removed from the marital residence. I am a big advocate of therapy. I believe that mental health issues are a thing and they need to be treated correctly. So please get some help, get some therapy if you suffer from mental health disorders, especially if there's kids or children involved. Finally, and probably most prevalent, is when there's issues of domestic violence. If you become violent against your spouse or violent against your children, maybe even violent against your pets, you may be removed from the marital residence. And I say pets because a lot of times children and spouses have an emotional attachment to pets, and if you do harm to them, it would cause emotional trauma to kids or your spouse. If there's a history of domestic violence and one of the spouses either gets arrested by the police department or the other spouse files a petition for injunction against domestic violence and it is successful, a lot of times these domestic violence injunctions, they allow for the person who is being protected, the victim, to have 100% sole and exclusive use of the marital residence. So if you put your hands on your spouse or your kids, or if you're violent in any way, there's a good chance that you may be removed from the marital residence by the police and by a subsequent court order. So don't do that. That was a rundown on the 5 different situations in which you may be removed from the marital residence during a divorce proceeding. Remember that if you're living with your spouse, and I know tensions are high, be nice, be respectful while you live there, especially if there's kids. You don't want that to boil over into a situation in which you're getting pulled out by the police or an ambulance or something even worse. So if you know anyone that's going through this type of issue, have them give us a call. They can reach us at www.segarralawfirm.com. We have offices in Miami and Orlando, Florida. Do us a favor and like this video. Please share it with anybody that you think might believe this to be helpful information, and subscribe to the Divorce Broadcast.